Good day everyone, my name is Anton Astafib from SH305 and today marks a special day for young Anton Astafib. For Anton Astafib must embark a dire challenge in tackling his SIP, which is entitled Heat Compressed HDPE or High Density Polyethylene Polyester as a Recyclable Bag. The purpose of this study is to investigate the structure and possible capabilities in HDPE and to make money. In addition to this, the primary aim of my study is to investigate whether high-density polyethylene polyester can be recycled into a bowl. Moreover, I compiled 3 objectives which are very simple, like number 1 is to of course make this study feasible. Number 2 is to determine the disadvantages and advantages of the recycled product. And number 3 is to expand further research about recycling plastic. Now some of you will say, why did I choose this topic? Well, it's easy. Aside from wanting to make money, I'm really concerned with our environment because not a lot of people know how useful plastic is. By I mean useful, you can recycle or reuse the product in various ways. However, people are just minding their own business nowadays and complaining how dirty their surroundings are without even doing anything. And I plan on changing that. That is why I know a lot of you money hoarding people really want to make money in hard times like this. Well, lucky for you, you came to the right place. Now, it won't be a science investigatory project without background research questions, hypotheses, and variables, won't it? Well, I'm here today to explain to you the background research, questions, hypotheses, and variables for this study. According to Agarwal and Millikan, the field of polymer science recently celebrated its 100th anniversary. Yet there has been a growing awareness of the pollution caused by plastic disposal since the 1970s. In recent years, the topic has gained a lot of attention in debate outside of the polymer science community, which added into one critical question. Can the material properties of plastics be blamed for the plastic pollution problem? In terms of national aspect, according to Superior and Abreu, plastic pollution is one major problem that the Philippines is currently facing. Fun fact, the Pasig River apparently holds plastic garbage with an estimated 4 million tons of debris emitted per year. The Pasig River in the Philippines is one of the largest contributors of plastic pollution. You're welcome. So generally, you might be wondering, what is the hypothesis and the variables for this study? I'm gonna take a wild guess, and its hypothesis is if high-density polyethylene polyester is heat compressed with a certain temperature, then the plastic can be recycled into a bowl, in which case, the only variable for this study is the HDPE plastic. Moving on, the investigation design for this study isn't that complex at all. You just need a lot of motivation. When I say a lot, like a lot. First, the researchers must collect and prepare the necessary materials to conduct the study. Then, for 2 to 3 days, the researchers must use trial and error to compile the needed data to proceed for the experiment. With a span of 1 week, the researchers must record and analyze the data after conducting the experiment and continue to work on their paper as they discuss the results to make the conclusion of the study. Now, moving on for the experimental procedure, the first step you need to do is gather the materials. So, basically, to identify if it's HDPE or not, the only thing you need to do is find a label symbol with a number 2 in the center or PEHD underneath a plastic. Then second, cut the plastic into smaller pieces and use a sandwich toaster as the heat compress machine for the HDPE plastic. Third, is to use parchment paper below and on top of the plastic to avoid sticking with the sandwich toaster. After achieving 119 degrees Celsius for the sandwich toaster, the plastic can be now placed inside the machine and the researchers must wait 5 minutes as per the trial and error data tested to heat up the plastic. After 5 minutes, the plastic can be now molded into a bowl by placing it on a metal bowl, then covering it with a second bowl, and using clamps to hold the metal bowl in place to achieve the desirable shape. Gloves and eyewear protection must be present to avoid any harmful injuries, such as burning your hands or your dignity. So, as for the results, surprisingly the HDPE plastic turned into a bowl. Now, apparently, the disadvantage for this experiment is the lack of resources in order for other researchers to conduct the experiment, such as the sandwich toaster. Yet, one major advantage is now you can recycle any HDPE plastics or products depending on the material you want to make. I highly suggest everyone to take precautions as these experiments deals with high temperature, but the product that comes afterwards is rewarding and now you may start recycling. As for the conclusion, the study went well and I support the hypothesis for this study. Yet I recommend for the future researchers to expand more topics about other ways to heat up HDPE, polyester, and research about other plastics that can be molded and recycled into a desirable shape to minimize the existing plastic pollution we are facing. But so far, I'm satisfied with the results and
Блять!